how much you mean to me. You're a true Deborah. You're an Esther. You're wise. You battle. You're a warrior. Not only for me, but our entire nation and nations, our congregation. I'm so proud of everything that you've accomplished so far, that we've accomplished as a family.
I said I was. Don't hear me. I said I was. I absolutely believe I'm loving. Watch, you can pick this up in little signs. Little signs that I do. And I hold myself accountable. Little signs are like, oh, you guys don't have to have pastor appreciation. You don't need to do that. Here, take this back. Little signs that I still struggle with. And I've got to say to myself, no, I deserve pastor appreciation. I'm a good pastor. Y'all appreciate me. And buy me a new pair of shoes. And ones that don't fall down in that hole. No, seriously. Because
of course she deserved pastor appreciation money. And this is a document here from her financial statements. And it says that she took $65,000 that year, and I believe it was 2014 or 2015, on top of her already tremendous salary. She worked so hard as a pastor that she was paid $646,000. Yeah, with a grand total of $826,000 that she took from her church there. At the time, it was called New Destiny. And here's her financial condition for 2017, and that was $8 million. Of course, it's a lot more now, and the reason we're seeing these financial statements is that these documents were made public when Shirley Johnson sued Paula White for malicious prosecution after Paula sued her for copyright infringement, and the court made these documents public. Anyway, here's an airplane, a similar airplane to what her husband bought, and that cost almost $1 million. And notice here, also from this financial statement from 2014-2015, Paula White bought a Lamborghini. That's a car that could cost upwards of $300,000. These are used Lamborghinis, and look how much they cost. So she was certainly living the lavish lifestyle off of people's tithes, offerings, and seed faith gifts that she's always begging for. This is her house in Apopka, Florida. It's quite a large house, and I think they have something like 4 acres there. There's the horse barn. They have, or they did have, I don't know how many horses they have now, but they did have quite a few horses, I think 3 or 4. And there's another shot of her horse barn. There's a picture of the inside of her condo in New York City. And that condo is actually not in Trump Tower, as has been reported. It's in a building on Park Avenue. Trump has a building on Park Avenue. As you can see here, there's the court papers that Randy and Paula owned this condo, which they bought in 2005, and they paid a little bit over $3 million for the condo. And they actually put a down payment down of almost $1 million. So they had $1 million worth of equity in the condo. You can see here some more information, some more court documents with the mortgage, which was $2,625,000, and that was recorded in 2005 after they made their down payment. And you can see here's the taxes on this place, which were $47,000. New York real estate transfer taxes. And here again is a document that shows the purchase of this New York City condominium on Park Avenue, which I believe that Paula uses it as a rental. Now, Here's the house that they owned in Tampa, which was later gone into foreclosure. Somewhere around, I think, 2014, it was foreclosed because Randy wasn't paying the mortgage on this house. It's quite a nice, large house, and as you can see in this document, they took in over $39 million in 2006, according to the Grassley report. They defaulted in 2008 on a $1 million loan, which prompted the credit union to file foreclosure proceedings then. It also includes a $12 million loan made to the organization in December and here again you can see this chart from the Grassley report. 2004, 16 million in tithes and offerings. 2005, 23 million in tithes and offerings. And 2006, $35 million in tithes and offerings. Product sales over $3 million. So they were taking in, they probably took in, I guess, from the whole time that they had this Without Walls Church in Tampa, I would say they took in over $100 million, which that Randy wound up filing for bankruptcy in 2014. And you can see the bankruptcy document is available online. And Randy actually wanted the bankruptcy court to pay him $819,000. He claimed that the Without Walls organization owned him. See, you can see that here from the bankruptcy filing. They owed they owed well over, I think, about $26 million in debts, even after taking in all that money. What did they do with over $100 million? And then they were broke. They were broke. Of course, Paula says she never filed for bankruptcy, but she was a part of all this. She was a part of all this. And you can see here, they were bankrupt, but they spent $5,000 to move Randy's mother. And you see that they even owed the police department. They owed everybody money. The police department, the telephone company, the construction companies, the printers. I think there was something like almost, it's either 60 pages to the bankruptcy document. Here again is a report from the Grassley report, which is available online that you can read. And you see a breakdown here of their income and their expenses, which it was a lot of money. It was a lot of money. They sure did a lot of scamming, Randy and Paula. And it was well documented in the Grassley report of all the ins and outs of the finances of Paula and Randy White. But you can see that the family was well paid too. The son, Randy's son and Paula's son and the daughter and the father and the sister, they made up to $420,000, $560,000. They were all cashing in over there. Yeah, I mean, what 20-something is making $500,000? Wow. In 2008, the organization defaulted on a $1 million loan. The filing also included a $12 million loan made to the organization in 2003. And there was quite a bit of publicity that was there. Also, Paula bought T.D. Jakes. She bought T.D. Jakes a Bentley at one point. And a Bentley could cost $200,000 to $300,000, but total housing allowances, $713,000, $883,000. Most people don't spend that kind of money on their house in a lifetime. Also, you saw there the vacate sign from Without Walls in Lakeland, where they weren't paying the electric bill, so the county slapped a vacate sign there. And anyway, here you can see that their accountant said that they wanted a total compensation package of $5 million. They wanted $5 million. There again is the vacate sign. And that was from the Lakeland church when they didn't pay the electric bill. Here is the sign for the bankruptcy auction in Lakeland for the Without Walls Church. This is the bankruptcy for Without Walls in Tampa, which it was in a foreclosure also. And it was sold before it was foreclosed. Without Walls Central, that was the church there in Lakeland. There's the former administration building of Without Walls in Tampa that was later bulldozed. There's the main sanctuary of Without Walls in Tampa, which was later bulldozed. That's some of the old truck that they left behind. They left behind thousands of dollars in property. And there's the bulldozed remains of Without Walls. And I shot this footage. Of course, I didn't have a tripod the day I was there. I was actually there a few times to see the destruction in Tampa and Lakeland. And I saw it for myself, how they left these properties and they abandoned these properties. And they would not use their $1 million that they had in equity in the New York condo to rescue these properties.
By a huge church and a school that hasn't been touched in years. By a huge church and a school that hasn't been touched in years. Well, the once bustling Without Walls Church in Lakeland is heading to the auction block after its owners filed for bankruptcy. As our Ryan Race reports, all new at 6, bidders are now being asked to name their price.
Take a walk sometime before they tear it down, and hopefully they don't.
It's a bittersweet end for the people who grew up next to a place with such rich history. They knew it as the Carpenter's home church.
Yeah, it's destroyed.
Windows to the old school now look like a checkers board. Doors are smashed, buildings ransacked. Peer into the sanctuary and there are clear signs of vandalism over a thick layer of dirt.
It's just so big.
The church, big enough to seat nearly 10,000, double the size of the Straz Center in Tampa.
It's hard to try and fill a church that size in Tampa, let alone in Lakeland. I mean, it's a big place.
The owners, Without Walls International, constantly struggled to fill those seats up until it shut down in 2011. Now, the entire property, in its dilapidated state, is going to auction. The sprawling 64 acres even comes with its own 8-story tall prayer tower. It all overlooks beautiful Lake Gibson.
It's kind of like our own little bop tower.
Jeffrey Wank is one of the several neighbors who tries to maintain the property but struggles to keep up. The church tried to make a comeback in Lakeland back in 2012, but failed.
And yes, they were paying their bills and trying to get back up and running. It just things haven't worked out for them.
The church now owes the city of Lakeland roughly $35,000 and another $14 million to the mortgage holder. Soon, it all goes to the highest bidder. In Lakeland, Ryan.
On these next series of clips, we'll see the destruction of the church in Lakeland, Florida, that they bought, Without Walls Lakeland, which was once Carpenter's home church. It was an Assembly of God church, and it could seat over 9,000 people. It was the scene. And as you could see, Paula and Randy abandoned this property because they weren't paying their bills. They weren't paying the mortgage. It was sold at a foreclosure auction. And it had to be demolished because vandals totally destroyed this building. Randy and Paula White would not hire security for this building, even though they had $1 million in equity in their New York City condo. But of course, they weren't going to spend their own money to salvage this property. They left pianos there. They left communion trays. I was there personally a few times. And I saw they left clothing. Oh, they have ministries to the poor, but yet they left thousands of dollars worth of goods there that they didn't give away to anybody. And it's a very sad story. I will post a link to these videos in the description so that you can see them. There's 2 excellent videos on YouTube about the destruction of this property, totally vandalized. That's Paula and Randy White. That's how they took care of things. That's how they used your money